What's up, guys? We've got stretch and release going on today. We are going to work on our ankles. So feet, ankles take a lot of the load throughout the day. We want to make sure we get them stretched, warmed up, and functioning well. So I'm going to give you a little test to do in the beginning. So what I'm going to do is go ahead and slip your shoes off. You're going to need a wall or flat object out in front. I'm going to use my foam roller to demonstrate today, but we're going to do a 5-inch wall test. All right. So I want you to start off with, we're going to go a thumb's length and a hand from that wall with your toe. All right. So once you've got that toe lined up, we're going to work on seeing how many inches we can get that knee coming out over the toe while keeping that foot flat. So I'm going to start to drive that knee forward nice and slow, checking to see, am I keeping that heel down? And am I able to get that knee close to or right at the wall? So this side, I've got about 2 finger length from the wall. So now I'm going to go ahead and double check that other side. So we want to make sure that we are properly balanced. I'm going to take that thumb and hand length again. So left side, we had that 2 finger length. This right side, it's actually looking a little better. I'm able to come all the way down and touch that wall. So what that tells me and what it might tell you is maybe one side's a little bit more imbalanced, or maybe we have a little bit of room that we can kind of work through some of that range mobility to help increase and improve that functioning. So let's go ahead and stretch out today. We're going to hit the calf and some of the muscles that cross the ankle joint. We're going to start out with a basic calf roll. I'm going to bring it down to the floor. We're going to just work one side at a time. I'm going to have you crisscross that foot over the top, directly over the top of that foam roller, and we're just going to go from the ankle all the way up to the back of the knee. So I'm just going to slightly lift my hands up with my hips up in the air, pressing down into that foam roller, a little high and low here. So we're going to start out with some broad strokes. If you find a nice tender spot, what I want you to do is hover over that tender spot. Maybe give me some smaller strokes back and forth here. Next spot I'm going to go is towards the meaty part of my calf. And I'm going to do a little side to side. That way I hit both the lateral and medial aspects, inner and outer, both sides here. So really restoring some of that nice, soft, healthy tissue. We'll do one more time, broad strokes. All the way up and down that calf. I'm going to kind of roll to the outside, bring it back over to the inside, and then switch legs to the other side. So we're shooting for about 60 seconds on each side. Again, I'm going to apply a little bit of pressure. You can either use that foot, use that leg, or if you got really tender calves, you can even just go without. So you've got several different options there. I like to get enough tension to where you are uncomfortable but not extremely painful. So we want to cause change, but we don't want to make that uncomfortable while we do it. All right, we're going to do a little side to side again, outside to inside. Through the biggest part of the calf itself. So the reason why we are targeting the calf, especially for that ankle, is the calf actually, that gastrocnemius muscle crosses both the knee and the ankle. One of the bigger muscles on that lower leg below the knee. All right, we're going to go one more time, back and forth. And then also rotating a little bit outside, a little bit inside. So the very next spot we're going to target are 2 different muscles responsible for that ankle joint. So right here, right next to that shin bone is called your tibialis anterior. And then just outside of that, we've got your peroneals that run along the outside. Both cross at the ankle joint. One's responsible for dorsiflexing and turning that foot in, called inversion. The other one's responsible for plantar flex and everting, where we're pushing that foot out. So we're going to actually work on both of those. First one, let's go ahead and do the easier of the two. The peroneals is more on the back side versus by that shin bone. So this back side, I like to be a little bit more angled up and I'm just gonna take that leg and we're gonna go down the outside aspect of that shin. So we're just gonna kind of glide back and forth. I'm gonna take that hand, apply a little bit of pressure on top. So again, I'm promoting that change with the tissue itself. So once we've done about 30 seconds on that perineal, we're gonna go more towards the front, just outside that shin bone on the tibialis anterior. So I'm gonna actually rotate my foot over to the side, get my body on top so that I can use my own body weight to create that change and that pressure. And from there, I'm rolling all the way down that shin, all the way up to the outside of the knee. So this one is responsible a lot of times for any pesky shin splints that you may get from running, jogging. So we want to restore that tissue, get it moving, gliding well. We're going to go ahead and switch to the other side. So again, we're more so on the back side of the lateral outside aspect of that foot. So we'll start out right about there. And we're going to stay on a little bit more of the upper half for that perineal. Just kind of gliding back and forth. You can even push that foot away, turn it to the outside. You're going to feel that perineal activate. Help you kind of find that muscle a little bit better. And then to kind of feel where that tibialis anterior, you're going to pull that toe in and pull it towards the midline of the body. That's going to be that tibialis anterior. So from there, we're going to get more on top, outer aspect. Rolling just outside the shin bone, not directly on the bone itself. Shooting for about 30 more seconds. I'm going to add a little bit of pressure. You can use that hand, use your body weight. Perfect. All right, next one we're going to do is we're actually going to elevate that foot. We're going to place this roller right underneath the Achilles, right above the ankle joint, and we're going to do some ankle rolls. So we're going to take that ankle through its full range of motion. I'm going to point that toe away from my body. I want to go big clockwise circles. And what I'm going to try to do is keep the leg still and only move at the ankle joint right here. So I'm not turning my hips as I do this. I'm keeping this locked down, making the ankle and all of the muscles around it doing the work here. So I want you to give me 10 ankle rolls one direction. Once you've hit 10 one direction, we're going to go opposite, counterclockwise. So really taking it slow, trying to minimize any rotation from the hip, make that ankle do all the work here. Once you've done 10 on that side, we're going to go ahead and switch to the other foot. Again, bringing that roller, propping that foot up right underneath the Achilles. All right, so we're going to go 10 ankle rolls. Nice big sweeps, keeping that upper part of the leg still. Good. Once you've done 10 that direction, we're going to go 10 opposite direction, nice big circles. So try to take those toes in the biggest part of the circles that you can. And then the very last one, we're going to go back to the gastroc. We're going to use our own body weight to apply a little bit of pressure to both the gastroc and the Achilles. So on this one, very last one, I'm going to get a good stretch of the ankles by laying my ankles flat. From here, I'm going to go ahead and bring that foam roller. We're going to start at right over the top of the Achilles, lower part of the gastrocnemius. And what I want you to do is just go ahead and use your own body weight to kind of sit down onto that roller, apply a little bit of pressure to the very top. So how much you apply is depending on your own tolerance. If you need a little less, you can lean forward. If you can add a little bit of pressure, sit back just a little bit. Very last one we're going to do a little push side to side. So with my long roller, I'm going to push down on that left side, pressing down, and then I'm gonna shift my weight over to the right side and push down on that right side. So I'm just gonna kind of go back and forth, applying about 5 seconds pressure to each side. We're going for about 3 to 4 cycles, getting a good 30-40 seconds here. And relax, excellent. So now that we've worked on the soft tissue of the ankles, calves, next one we're gonna do is start working on some stretches. So just like we kind of tested in the beginning with that dorsiflexion stretch, we're gonna actually do a similar stretch. So what I want you to do is go ahead and bring your right foot forward. We're gonna start out 90 degrees. I'm gonna bring my back foot back just a little bit so that I can lean my body weight forward. Most important part of this, we're gonna keep that heel down. So if you find that heel starts to lift up, I want you to ease off of it a little bit. Push that knee forward, and then what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna use my chest to create that last bit of tension to push that knee out over the toe. Try to shoot for as much depth as I can. We're going for about 30 seconds here. A lot of times what you can even do is elevate up on a box, and that's gonna also help you get into that stretch if you're limited by your hip flexibility. So by bringing it up on a box or a step, you can get a little bit more range out of that ankle. We'll go ahead and switch sides. Same thing, heel down, 90 degrees. I'm gonna open up those hips just a little bit and start to lean forward. So this is my a little bit more imbalanced side. So I might give this one just a little bit more attention if I have some extra time. I'm gonna start to lean that chest down. Trying to get a good stretch to the back of that ankle. Maybe even apply a little bit of pressure to the top of the knee. Got several different options to kind of get the most. I want you to play around with a few of those variations. Find out what works best for you here. Perfect. We're gonna ease on out of that. Next stretch we're gonna do is called a couch stretch. So we're gonna utilize a wall. If you have a chair or a couch, you are more than welcome to prop your ankle up on that. So we're gonna come over here to the back wall. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna bring this leg up towards the wall with the back of the ankle flat. All right, depending on your flexibility, the more flexible you are, the closer you're gonna be able to get that knee to the wall while we stretch out both the ankle, knee, and quad. So I'm gonna leave about 6 inches for me and bring this foot up to 90 degrees. If you're finding trouble getting up to this upright position here, what I want you to do is bring that knee just a little farther away from the wall and go ahead, come back up nice and slow. You could even use a yoga block, or if you've got a table next to you, you can use that table to kind of help with a little bit of support. What I'm gonna start to do is drive those hips forward and then sink back. Make this just a little bit more dynamic for the second half of the stretch. We're shooting for anywhere about 30 to 45 seconds, then we're gonna do a switch to the other side. So again, we're gonna place that foot flat on the wall, back of the foot to the wall. I've got my knee about 6 inches. A little more flexible, get a little closer. If you need a little bit of ease off of that, bring that knee a little farther away. Start to push that knee forward. Drive that knee back into the ankle. So we're adding a little bit of pressure and relaxation through the ankle. Also touching the quad, hip. Getting several different spots on these. Excellent. All right, well, last stretch, we're gonna come down to our mat. We're gonna do what's called a saddle stretch. So I'm gonna start you out with the easier of the two, working our way to something that's gonna be a little bit more progressive. So we're just gonna do a half saddle. I'm gonna have you bring this foot as close to your butt as you can go. I've got this knee tucked a little bit more towards the midline here, and I'm gonna go ahead and lift my hips so that I'm nice, square, flat. From there, I'm gonna go ahead and start to sink my body weight back. Maybe you come down to one elbow. Maybe you're super flexible, you can come down to 2 elbows or even lie on back. What I want you to do is just find that position that's comfortable for you. We're not getting any aggressive pain through the knee or the ankle, so if you need to ease on off, You could even roll those hips away, still getting a good stretch through that ankle, even crossing the knee joint there. Once we've done about 30 seconds on that half saddle, we're gonna go ahead and switch it up. Same thing, other side. I'm gonna tuck that heel right underneath my glute. I've got the back of the ankle pushing towards the flat part on the floor. I'm gonna lift my hips and drop them nice and slow. Nice gentle stretch. Maybe easing on back. So you wanna ease on into this, nothing too quick or aggressive. Letting those tissues kind of open up on their own, getting that full range of motion. Also work on a little bit of breathing, taking deep breaths in through the nose, out through the mouth. Good, give me one more deep breath. Ease on out of that one. All right, last stretch for the day. We're gonna do a double saddle. So this time without the foam roller, we're gonna lay those ankles flat. I'm gonna sit down onto those heels. So again, we're trying to get those ankles as flat as they can go. From there, I'm gonna ease on back. Maybe I'm lifting the hips to take a little bit of pressure off. If that's super aggressive, you could even just hang out here. So you've got several different options depending on where you're at. Farther back you go, the more intense that stretch is going to be. Maybe you come down to the elbows. Maybe even come all the way down to the back on the floor. Holding that for about 30 to 45 seconds. Focusing on that breathing. And relax. Excellent. All right. For our final one, we're going to retest that ankle mobility, see if we got any improvements with it. So you always want to make sure, see if the stretches that you're doing are giving you the changes that you want. If not, maybe you need to increase the amount of frequency that you're doing these throughout the week. The time that you're in the stretches are some ways you can get some benefits. So I'm going to go ahead, remeasure that thumb and hand width from the toes. We're going to check my good side first. And that side's still good. Heels on the floor, knees touching. Switch to the other side. Remeasure that toe. About a hand length with the thumb apart. From there, let's see how close we get. See if I got any improvement, any change to those tissues. Which this side looks like I've got about half a finger, so nice good improvement on that side. Again, starting to kind of get those imbalances to even out and make you move better throughout the day. So if you guys saw any changes, what I want to know is what changes you saw. Did you see anything on those 5-inch dorsiflexion stretch? Comment below one of your favorite stretches, and we'll see you next week for stretch and release. Thank you guys.